Finally. All right, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a magnificent day today. So far, turn off my music here. There you go. So far, I've been having a crazy busy day. The market's been kind of all over the place today as far as Bitcoin, but there's been a few altcoins doing some really crazy things. Really just the same two things we were talking about yesterday, NMR and Crow, but there's been some good day trading there. I forgot today was cigar day, so I had to go run to my one of my cigars in my car, so sorry about being a few minutes late. But what I did get first today is two. Because I did want to have a longer stream tonight. I'm not doing anything later on tonight. I'm pretty much just going to go to sleep after probably some light cleaning. So I got two options here. One is an H Upman. This is a barber pole, so you can see it has like a different colors like in the spiral. And the other one here is a blackened. Both of these are relatively cheap, kind of around $10 or something. I think you guys can find around your spot. If you guys have ever tried one of these, let me know. The goal for today, besides having one of these beautiful cigars, both of these beautiful cigars, is we're going to focus on Bitcoin technicals, talking about what's going on, because this week is still important as far as that weekly chart in the MACD. And then from there, we're going to be checking out our portfolios, because those are doing very well right now, or at least one of them is, right? CNBC news as normal, some crypto news, Fed watch, and then we're just going to be going over some of the data coming out this week, because on Friday we do have inflation data coming out, and that could be a catalyst for Bitcoin one way or the other, because right now Bitcoin's technicals are getting more bearish, but if we get good inflation data, even with those bearish technicals, we might be able to actually thrust forward into the weekend, giving us bullish technicals on the weekly with just bearish on the daily, which overall would still give us an opportunity to hit all-time highs in September, when I think a lot of people are probably thinking we're going to have a pretty lackluster September and then really start to go parabolic towards October, November, December, which could also happen, but you'd rather have the best setups possible for those types of moves, right? So notice no more green screen behind me. I got that all cleared out for now. I will be moving my camera around a little bit here, so it's a little bit lower or something like that. That way you guys don't have to see the light from the eye that's looking at me and stuff like that. But happy to see all of you guys here. Hey, Sovereign Soul, Puma, Jude, Wilder, Charmander, GOP, Lisa, Andy, and Fitz. Happy to see all of you guys in here. Inland Empire, California. Oh, there you go. I haven't heard of Empire in a while. I haven't been down there in a minute, right? And hey, what's right there? Charmander, there we go. Crow to the moon. Crow's been doing very, very well. So what I'm going to do very fast is start up this little cigar here. Again, like I said, it's an Upman. You guys won't be able to see it too well. You can see a hidden animal right there, looking and looking and looking. And hello, you want to say hi? Oh, he's running to get a toy so he can do it. You want to say hi? Come on. I don't know what about him makes him want toys so much when he gets excited. He's like, I have to bite something. But he's been trained, if he wants to bite, go bite a toy. It's like almost like a stress relief. See? What is that? What is that? Is that a toy right there? Yeah. Yep. Oh, I wonder if I have the green screen still on there, because his green thing looks kind of white. I don't even know. Let me go over here to filters. Edit filters. Oh yeah, they are still on. Chroma key. There you go. Okay, so he's enjoying himself. So let me clip this cigar head off very fast. Got a nice little thing. And then we're just going to pull up a match. I don't have my large matches. I literally got the cigar from my box that has the large matches, but I forgot to bring the box inside. Mostly because I forget my box inside when I take it out. So, here we go, guys. And we can focus on some technical analysis for the day. There you go. A little toast never hurt. It's mostly lit. I think we should be fine for now. We'll see if it stays all the way. We're looking pretty good. All right, let's go over here, everybody. So what we've been seeing from Bitcoin, of course, is us trying to bounce off the 20-week moving average here. The issue really hasn't been the Bitcoin, just the charts, and it's kind of like going up and down, right? Because if you think about it, we're just technically hitting our old resistance level that's now turned into a level of support, right? We had some resistance over here, some resistance over here, and now we're in the process of bouncing. It's not like an easy thing to do, but we're in the process of trying to bounce. Whether or not we were able to succeed, I think it actually really remains to what happens with inflation on Friday. But let's take that out of the equation for now. We're just trying to bounce off of this. Last time we broke down below this, it wasn't a good experience. The last time we broke down below it over here was not a great experience, not a great experience, not a great experience. So when we break down below this, this is not a great experience at all. The hope has to be that we're able to bounce off of it. But because we are very close to having a confirmation of the bearish MACD, I would be more likely to assume that Bitcoin is going to go down, and you're going to see Bitcoin come down a little bit, but really altcoins take a pretty nasty hit. I think that's the concern I have right now. Even though we're going to have rate cuts, even though all this other good news, we may still see a little bit of choppiness coming for Bitcoin before we start to see those mega moves down the line, right? So if you guys are holding anything like the Crow, which we'll talk about later, or the NMR that we're talking about, it's okay to scale out of it, even though we're still well beyond like the top of the altcoin season type of market. So just to show you guys, last few times we had those bearish MACDs, and we haven't had this have a confirmation just yet, but we have until Sunday, which means PCE, like I said, can help us out. But last time wasn't good. The time before that was not good. Over here was not good. Over here wasn't that bad. So it's not like 100%, right? This time, not good. There you go. This time, not good. This time, obviously not good. This time didn't really matter all too much, right? Right there, didn't do much. So, you know, we'll have to see, but more often than not, you are going to see a nasty move to the downside once we have that confirmation on the weekly charts, right? That's what I want to just instill in your mind right now, because we have had a few good months of good growth. We've had a little bit of choppiness, and you know what happens a lot is we do have a little bit of choppiness, and then we just kind of have a falling out moment, and then everybody decides to buy, then we start to rip up afterwards. So there may be a good buying opportunity here pretty darn soon. All right, so I'm going to talk slower today just because I got this cigar in my mouth. Try not to speed through everything. But I hope that makes sense, guys. We're still very far off from seeing anything like a death cross between the 20 and the 50-week moving averages. Way, way far away from that. What's been kind of good is the timing for this has always led us to have really seismic moves, which I've absolutely adored from Bitcoin here, right? Now, with Bitcoin doing okay, right, on the medium term and short term, maybe a little bit more bearish and stuff like that, the one thing that's keeping me going strong is the monthly chart still remains strong, right? This is bullish, bullish, bullish across the whole range here. So even if we were to have a dip, like, you know, we had bearish here and bearish here on the weeklies, the monthly was still bullish, and that's something that I do like a lot. When this thing starts to turn bullish, nothing really stops it from going. Even go to the older one, right? Bullish, it goes. Bullish, it rips. Bullish, it rips. Bullish, it's been ripping, right? So as long as that stays good, I think we're fine. But it's not to say there won't be some pain for those of you guys who may buy right now and realize like within a week we're down 5-6% on assets and things like that, right? Especially because if you were to go down the altcoin list, like if I just put this into auto mode and I go to like Ethereum is pretty overbought right now. You can see it's had a great move, like crazy good move, but it's not like it can't fall back down to support and retest it around $4,000. In fact, I would say that's probably likely at this point. Solana, pretty flat, but also making new weekly highs on average, right? Higher here, a little bit higher here, a little bit higher here. And we're seeing still some strong momentum, but still you can see we're up against an old level of resistance, or if you wanted to pull this bad boy out here, we have some old Fibonacci levels that are making some sense right now too. And I don't know how far you guys want to go back, but you know, there's a whole bunch of old levels in here. This one isn't really too important, right? But if you were to start going back, what was the one I was looking at earlier? There's a couple of them. Right. That one's not too bad, actually. That one's not too bad. Let me pull one more up over here. And still okay here, week over week. But still looking at some of those levels of resistance, you can actually see it right here, this old one. There's a Fibonacci level right there. I just forget exactly which one it is. I don't trade Solana too much these days. Dogecoin, looking like it could break down here pretty soon. So there's just there's opportunities for us to be at a big level of resistance for a lot of tokens, and that's just having a little bit of breather. Because again, you may say Dogecoin has been choppy the last few weeks, but Dogecoin had a run. Like, let's go from the bottom of this candle, not the wick, but it's the bottom of the daily or the weekly. It did have a run of around 92%. Trump token didn't really have a run, but that's Trump token. WIF token had a pretty nice run over the last few months where it ran up around 95%. Right. So there were some really nice runs. Now, sometimes they've been bleeding back down, obviously, but that's why we talk about taking your profits, looking at the resistance levels, scaling out when you want to, and scaling out can help you guys out a little bit here. There are tokens still looking bullish, but when Bitcoin falls, it typically does bring everything down. The token that we've been talking about a little bit here, the WTX token, weeks. This one's been doing fine, but if you look at the daily chart, it's been choppy, trying to break out to all-time highs again. But I believe if Bitcoin were to get ugly, this would eventually come down, which would be suck for me because I've been buying a bunch of it. Now that we have all that out of the way, the rest of the market, you look today, last 7 days, Crow, Jito, Hyperliquid are the top gainers, but only really one is actually making a really big move, and that's really Crow this week. If you were to go to like page 2 and page 3 and stuff like that, you would actually see, there you go. Quantum's up 37%, LivePeer's up 17, Bio's up 17. Okay, not great, not bad, but fine. So, been a struggling week, I think we could all admit here. Now, as far as news and stuff like that, before we go over our portfolio and things like that, the only really big news I wanted to talk about was really two things here. And thank God this story's still up. NVIDIA had decent earnings. They're good. People aren't freaking out. The futures are positive. That's really good news for us to see. Let me actually open up a new tab here in case they have futures running now. Yeah, pre-market running, yeah. Oh, it's back to being unsheer. Uh-oh. Well, we'll have to see because that can make a negative move for tomorrow for Bitcoin, which would kind of follow the bearish thesis that I have right now. So we'll check that out in a little bit later, and we can actually open up the futures markets here pretty soon. Okay, and the other thing here is Google has eliminated 35% of managers overseeing small teams in the past year, executive says. Again, you're going to see a lot more of this happening. The economy is slowing down. And a lot of these managers that remain, they are going to utilize AI to help them out with their job and their tasks and things like that, okay? Now, crypto news, not too much going on here. Altcoin season sparks wild moves. Chronos soars 25% as Aave and BGB fight to hold ground. Again, this is not altcoin season. I think this is like clickbait here. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Kanye West Yeezy token might be the quickest celebrity coin collapse ever. I haven't actually looked at this very fast. I wanted to talk about it because people have been asking me about it a little bit. I think I talked about it maybe for a few seconds or something like that. But like YZY, we didn't even look at the technicals. YZY. It's on Bybit. Oh, damn. Look at that. Again, when I see celebrity tokens like this, it almost makes me remember Hawk Tua, how nobody really understands who's the people setting up these tokens and what's going on. I don't think Kanye West knows anything about cryptocurrency, right? I don't think he knows shit. So somebody put this idea in his head. He's like, let's do it. He probably got paid some money for it, but nobody's made money off of this. So I don't even think the guy's probably got a good return on their investment for trying to scam everybody off this token. Because what? This is a 15-minute chart, right? So you really had about 2.5 hours of people really buying, you could say. The rest, it's people just trying to get it back up. And you see the people that owned it, they've been selling it off. A quick spike right there where they stopped selling, right? They saw the dip, they're like, oh, we got to back off a little bit. Goes back up, they start selling again, right? Which is very, very interesting here. So there's a quick buck for them. But, oh, God, that's freaking horrible. Now, just two last things here before we start to chill and kind of answer your questions, talk about stuff, and relax, right? And enjoy the cigars, right? 88% chance we have a rate cut next month, with only 11.8% chance that we don't have a rate cut, and then 0% chance that we have a 50 basis point rate cut. I do think this is actually a pretty good thing so far. I think this is why you're still seeing some tokens have some nice moves, and while you're seeing people still dollar cost average the altcoin market and kind of be aware of what's going on, because again, there's a what would you even want to call this? There's a clash of ideas happening right now between rate cuts and the technicals. The technicals are a little bit scary in the short term, right? But the rate cuts are still going to help us as we approach October, November, December of this year. But until that happens, right, people are like, uh-oh, it may be kind of rough. Because all of you guys already know August and September traditionally are not the best months for Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. But following that, it's great. So this is kind of like the time where you're supposed to be buying and waiting for those good moves, excuse me. Which brings me back to what we're talking about this Friday. There we go. We got PCE coming out 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. I will not be awake for this, I'm sorry. But just keep track of it. You will see some volatility Friday, and that volatility will most likely continue into the weekend here. But because we're looking at more bearishness right now, if this is a bad PCE number, Bitcoin will fall really fast. Altcoins will fall really fast. Whereas if it's something more dovish, Bitcoin will go up a little bit, but it will probably ultimately still fall, but just more gracefully and less scary for new investors, if that makes sense. So if we were to go over here, look at portfolios, the last big thing we have to talk about here, the group portfolio is up around 29% right now, which is actually pretty insane. And that's being led by Crow. Since we bought Crow, it's up 185%, with the worst performer still going to be Bubble Maps, which is down about 43%, okay? So with all of this, you go to the all chart. We bought it back down here, right? Put $1,000 in. We got as low as like $920 or something like that. And then we started to rise slowly, get back up there. A lot of volatility, getting up as high as like 1277, all the way back down to 1444, all the way up to 1325, all the way back down here to 1200, now all the way back up here to 1300 basically. So we are seeing some profit, which looks pretty nice. And if you look at everything below my head, basically, you're seeing a lot of green there with a few reds from Pepe, Bubble Maps, and Official Trump. But I just want to say, I'm not selling stuff because this portfolio is specifically designed to hold until altcoin season, when I think we can have some very large moves. But when you're seeing something like Crow pop up this much as Bitcoin is tending to be a little bit more bearish, you wouldn't be, it's okay to scale out of this and say, I'm taking some profits and then I'll buy back in if I see it dip down. But no matter what, I need to lock in something because this is so out of the ordinary. I had this same discussion with you with SEI when it was going up, right? If you guys remember this. We bought this stuff back like June 16th or something over here, right? So SEI popped up at a point over 121%. Now it's only up around 66%, and I think that's what it says right here too, right? Yeah, 63%, right? So I could have been up 122%, sold it, taken my profit, and bought back down more right now. I'm just telling you guys this every time because I'm not doing this because I just want to show you if you just buy and hold and wait for altcoin season, but there are other levels you can be taking for this as well. Okay. XRP's up 37, BNB's up 33, Ethereum's up 79, but Ethereum up was a lot more over the last few days, right? Bitcoin's up 6%, which is nice. Dogecoin is up 30, Pepe is down 2%, Hyperliquid's up 20, Bubble Maps is down 43, and Official Trump is down around 10% right now. You can see these ones aren't really weighted heavily compared to other ones because, again, this is really supposed to be the safe portfolio where this stuff you hold for a while and eventually it pops, makes you money, but you can still have growth in the account in case you need to sell it fast or something like that in some of those larger market caps like the Crows, the Bitcoins, Ethereums, BNBs, XRPs, and stuff like that. Okay, Fartcoin. Down 28%, 27%, not a fun time. You can see we started off around $390, yeah, $389, ran up all the way to $577. So again, there was an opportunity to sell for a nice profit, a very nice profit. Then we came crashing back down. The high risk one, it's down 2% right now. It's been kind of flat since we bought into it, to be frank. Hasn't really done much on the crazy side. That's okay. We're really being supported by Arrow, but Dog is really underperforming here, which sucks. And you can see a lot more red, right? But despite all that red, we had a few good lucky picks like Aerodime Finance and LivePeer, where it's actually supporting us where we're only down 2%, which I don't think is bad. That's actually pretty decent here, right? So the worst one is if you just went with one meme coin, but at one point you did have a good amount of profit rolling through there. So you just have to be able to sell and take the profit as needed. Especially in a bull market. If you typically just hold, you're going to be fine, typically. All right, so I'm all amped up for some reason. I think I've just been outside too much today. Been jamming the music, drinking coffee. I drank coffee. That's what it was today. Drinking too much coffee. But happy to see all of you guys in here. If you guys can, please subscribe, please like, please comment, or hit the emoji buttons. That always helps out the stream. YouTube just wants to have engagements, and every time you guys comment, no matter what it is, I think they want to see 5 words or more or something like that. But every time you do that, it gives the stream a little bit of a boost. That's why back when I was doing my streams back in 2021, I used to always ask everybody, hey, where are all of you guys watching from? Because first of all, I like kind of seeing the global audience, you know, and then there's an SEO component to that as well as far as the algorithm with YouTube. So the more you guys comment, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, YouTube recognizes it. Now, I will have my camera here in the corner from now on for a little bit. If I'm doing stories and like CNBC stuff, I'll still use this one right here. But I kind of like don't like going back and forth, all that type of stuff. So what you're going to see is like this in the opening, this for 90% of the stream, and this one if we're really going over like detailed CNBC articles or going over AI data and stuff like that, where I really want to zoom in and I feel like my sponsors haven't had enough like shine time or something like that, right? So a little bit backing up but looking so I don't hit Loki. There you go. There you go. All right. The cigars are lovely. Oh, yeah. I haven't had a cigar since No, I didn't smoke yesterday. I went out to a cigar lounge yesterday, but I didn't smoke. I was a good guy, good boy, right? Today I'm smoking. But I'm not going to the lounge. I think I have to. My sister's coming this Friday, so I probably won't smoke that much this weekend, even though I have to go to lounges this weekend for friends' comedy events. What's right here? You should dip them in a nice brandy before you smoke them, Mike. I do that at the cigar lounge. What I've been doing it lately with is the Belvini 14 and the Belvini 16. That's what I've been doing. I dip it in there, take a suck on it, and then I smoke it. One of my friends taught me that. Lawrence is his name. Great guy. He taught me that, and it's a very good thing, especially with the Belvini. Glenfiddich sometimes. I bought this bottle of Yunbu 18 year, I think it was. 18 year Yunbu. I'll look for it later on, but it's an expensive bottle. I've been doing it with that as well. I like it a lot, but with those things I usually sip. And YouTube will let me smoke, but it won't let me necessarily drink on screen. So I don't want to do all that stuff with you guys and get in trouble again. You know, I'm just now out of the doghouse, right? Just out of the doghouse. I don't want to go back in there. And hey, happy to see it fits. And hey, Sir Joe, weekly MACD cross bearish. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday and today, but the most important thing I want you guys to realize about that right now is it's not a confirmation yet. So for it to really have a meaningful effect, we really have to see it close in the red. And then once it's kind of on the record, it's in the past, we know it's there, all of a sudden you'll see a lot more people get more bearish. I'm just kind of preemptively getting a little bit more bearish. I've been bearish since last week, right? Is what it is. We'll take a look at it. You can see Bitcoin coming down over the last few days, obviously, but the MACD on this sucker was coming down for a while anyway. And at least the last few MACDs, they've been pretty accurate here, right? So we'll give it some time. I don't think it. See, with the CPI or the PCE coming out on Friday, even though we might ultimately end up lower, we can still have a pop, get rejected by either the 20 or the 50 here, and then come back down. Right? So there's opportunities within those for some of the day traders out there or short-term swing traders. And by short-term swing traders, you guys know how I like to trade. 24 to 36 hours is a golden opportunity because it gets you like the whole movement of this, where you're able to buy over here, sell somewhere over here, right? Or even over here on the downward move, but you're able to like really absorb that whole move instead of being like buying here and selling right here, which can still work, excuse me. But sometimes you can get a little bit more meat if you hold on. Not necessarily with this because, again, there's some resistance levels there, but you get the point I'm trying to make. ZBEC has been down for a while now. Oh, yep, that it has. Do I think an altcoin season will still happen? Yes, I do, but it looks like it's just not going to happen until the fall now. I thought we had a few opportunities here, but to be frank, this whole year was a little bit different because of the way tariffs enter the market, and I don't think that... I think that the fact that we really weren't having rate cuts had a massive effect of that. And that was partly caused by the tariffs as far as what Jerome Powell has been saying, right? So If you guys recall, Jerome Powell a few months ago said basically, well, if Trump didn't, I'm paraphrasing obviously, well, if Trump didn't do the tariffs, we would have already been cutting rates, right? Because they were afraid of massive amounts of inflation. And we really haven't seen massive amounts of inflation kind of flooding in month after month after month right after the tariffs. So it's been okay. Now, I will say, well, I think we just tacked on another 50% tariffs on India. That's probably not going to help the market at all. Trump is going after Lisa Cook because she might have done who's a Fed governor, because she might have done a mortgage fraud, which it looks like she did because she's not really defending herself the way you're supposed to in these types of circumstances. And yada, 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 right? I think everything's just been kind of slowed down. We're still up, right? We're still up on the stock market, the cryptocurrency markets. But if you kind of zoom out and you think about altcoins, the equivalent of altcoins in the stock market is basically the Russell 2000. So if we were to pull the Russell 2000 up, you'd basically see, oh, that hasn't been really going up that high either. So think about something like, this is a monthly chart for Bitcoin, right? Let's go to the second one. Let's get this. All right, Bitcoin been going higher, right? But if you go over here to the Russell 2000, you see how it's kind of been flat. What altcoin does that remind you of? Ethereum, you may say. Right? And really, these things thrive mostly on getting rate cuts and quantitative easing and money flowing into the economy and a bunch of easy money, basically. Jerome Powell is not doing that just yet. Now, if we start cutting and the economy stays strong enough to really not go into recession, what you will see is more rate cuts next year, and you will see much more growth. So we may, in fact, have a very bullish fall, a disastrous winter, 2026 entry into entry, and then we just blow the top out for spring, right? I'm not going to make that forecast, but you could see if we continue to get more and more rate cuts, more money will flow. Jerome Powell will be out. You're going to have a majority of board governors being Republicans or conservatives, which would want more rate cuts, which would juice up the economy. And as long as inflation doesn't spiral out of control, which it hasn't done yet, according to all the economists, right? I think we should be fine. But really, Ethereum, Russell, hopefully that opened up your eyes a little bit as far as like how crazy this is. Now, they spike at different times, like this spiked over here back in November. Ethereum spiked over here back in November, but not nearly as high, right? So the all-time highs, but pretty similar charts, you would say, right? Now, there are other tokens that aren't performing as well as Ethereum or the average of the Russell, right? But you can go to a random meme coin over here like Doge on Mars. Sorry, I got a little something in my mouth there. I don't know what that is. You can see that obviously is not doing great from where this 2022, 2021 highs, obviously. But, you know, again, you go to FinViz over here. Go over here to sector. No, we just want to go to index. There we go. Go to charts. You got some like Acadian Asset Management that's been ripping, right? You also got some like this back over here, American Assets Trust. We go back to 2022, look at the monthly chart. 2022, right? Falling like a rock. There's always going to be those companies out there. But you can see it's pumping up a little bit over the last few months, having some stability because we're expecting to see rate cuts. You can see a breakout possibly happening towards end of 2025, October, November, December, possibly 2026. But you can see kind of how those moves are as long as they still remain okay. And they're making money, although not much. But again, they only have a market cap of 1 billion, right? So bits and pieces. So you can imagine some of these stocks being like meme coins, if you will. Now, again, they're not meme coins, but they're acting like it. Definitely acting like it. There you go. Let's back this up to maybe the 50-minute chart. Bitcoin's choppy as hell tonight. Hey, Mo, happy to see you. Let's see. What about EGLD do you want to talk about? And hey, Bait, happy to see my man. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good right now. Smoking a nice little Upman right now. Relaxing a little bit. I've had a very long week, I made all these commitments to hang out and go do stuff. And it's just kind of, it's worn me down. So today's my only break I get for the week. So, and then my sister surprised me by saying she's coming back down to the house on Friday. So I'm like, woo, there we go. Right. So I just have fun with her because I like to spend time with my sister, even though it's not necessarily the most relaxing thing out there. Right. I'm 30, but she's like 20. So like she has so much more energy than me. But, Saturday, I went to two separate barbecues. Sunday, I went up to Seattle for smoking cigars and chilling with friends and going out. Monday, I went up to Seattle to for another barbecue where we had Korean ribs and stuff like that. It was delicious, salmon, chicken, all that stuff. Did that. Yesterday, I had a business meeting for like an hour and a half, which is really fun. I'm building a website with the guy. You'll see it here fairly soon. And then it's going to be like all educational content, so I'm moving back towards educational stuff. Today, my day off. Tomorrow, I go out to dinner with a few friends and go smoking after. Friday, my sister comes back into town. My friend has a comedy show at a cigar lounge that I have to go to go support him, right? Saturday, I have a friend's barbecue, which lasts from like, I can show up whenever I want to, but I'm gonna go early because it's a seafood bowl. It's gonna bring my seafood. It starts at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it finishes up around 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So boom, that's my Saturday right there. Saturday morning, I have a car show to go to at the LeMay Car Museum. Sunday, I have another day of rest. It's crazy. Yeah, so I'm hustling and bustling right now, but I think all that hustling and bustling's helping me lose weight because I've been eating a little bit, but I've been still losing weight, which has been fantastic because I'm moving around so much. So those daily extra calories and stuff like that have been really kicking in, he would say. But I've been exhausted towards the end of the day. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we'll see how that works out. And hey, Randy, happy to see my man out of Florida right now. Thanks for watching, my man. I remember you from a long time ago. You haven't even changed I think you changed your profile picture, but you haven't changed your, what do you call your name? Hey, GP, Romania. Oh, yeah, Romania is great. Will I bring back the 24/7 Doge stream? The 24/7 Doge stream is just on my second channel. Depending on what I do for this channel, I can move it over there. I'm just not entirely sure. So let me show you. So if you go over here to my other channel, Mike Whitman Investing, you'll see it's live right here, right? Because I'm moving back to educational content, what I might do is just use this for like talking head videos, like this one right here. I won't play the video, but like me talking about the Fed and what they could do, how they could wreck the economy, stuff like that. Sensational stuff. Maybe I'll stick to that for here because this one actually got good views. Like more than normal. I got 5 subscribers off it, which is crazy. I haven't really been getting many subscribers lately. So I probably do that. And I may move the Dogecoin stream back over here. It would probably take a week or so. And then I would probably use that as a funnel for getting you guys to watch other videos or something like that. Not really like saying, hey, everybody watch this, but like having a pinned comment saying, hey, if enjoy this video, this is my new video, whatever, about smart money concepts, watch it, whatever. But yeah, actually, let me go back to this thing. Yeah, oh, I need to switch account. There we go. Okay, we're back in business now. But yeah, so it is up and running. If you did want to chill out and talk with the same guys that were there before, yes, I will probably move it back over here. I'm just not entirely sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I will move it back, and then we'll see how the algo likes and all that type of good stuff here. But yeah, it's still back up and running. Thanks for asking that, Jonathan. 5 words or more. Going up, not a head and shoulders. I hope it's not. Actually, I mentioned that earlier today as far as the daily chart head and shoulders. Again, this could be why September isn't being bad. You could consider this being a shoulder, a head, and then maybe we bounce back up and that turns into another shoulder or something like that over time. It's not as obvious on the daily chart, but it is more obvious on the weekly chart. You can kind of see that shoulder over here, head, right? But again, it just depends. Because if you recall, this was going to be a double top over here before it wasn't a double top, right? So there's a bunch of ways of thinking about it. Right now, the interesting thing about Bitcoin is you can see we've already broken down below support. We broke down back over here on August, right? Now it's on a beautiful chart. Maybe if I go to the daily, maybe it looks a little bit nicer. Right? Ugly, ugly, ugly chart right there. Ugly, right? Ugly, ugly, ugly. And when we had to break down here, we were still bullish in the MACD, which is again why you gotta like really look at the momentum, because the momentum could save you some real drama there. But again, still broke down, which would indicate a pullback is coming or a little bit of a cooling off. And so if you would just do the basics of the fibs, right? Just the basics. No, that's a short position. I need to go to fib retracement. There you go. Right? We tried to come back down here, failed. Next level is really around $105,000. So if things get really nasty next week, I'd probably say we get down anywhere between $105,000 to $104,000, and then we try to bounce off of that, and then see, kind of see where we go next. Next week, as far as news is concerned, if I were to go over here next week's, we have manufacturing data, beige book, factory orders, nothing really crazy. ADP employment may be interesting. Maybe. And then unemployment on Friday. I mean, those are things that could matter, but usually they're kind of not disastrous, so we just don't pay attention to them too much, right? But they could be, right? But again, it would be more of just the follow through of the momentum shifting that we're currently seeing right now. That breakdown looks kind of ugly, but you can kind of see, at worst, I think we might come back down to 99,000. That would really spook people out of the market. But if you were to, here, where is that volume flow? Okay, let's just use this one. I like the website one better, but this will work. Oh, that's the Lazy Bear one. I don't want to explain how that one works. Where is the basic one, though? They should have one that's meant just for people, just for everybody. Let's go to technicals. Let me just do profile. It's not showing up too much. Oh, there it is. Okay, you go to the daily chart. Right? You can see a lot of support way down here at 96,000. And does it not work with the weekly chart? It does not. Okay. That's in this middle range down here on mid 90s or so. I would say if that gets really nasty, but if you were to, okay, actually, let me just draw a line here so I can freaking, boom, right there. A little teeny one right over here, right? A little bit over here, but not a lot. There we go. Let's pull this off so you can see that red line. All right, that's kind of where the 50-week moving average is. So I wouldn't expect us to drop all the way down there within the next few weeks. If anything, I'd still say it would be pulling up more because that 50-week is going to be going up week over week after week. And we may dip down below it temporarily, but usually we do find a way to bounce off of it. So far over the last few months, we've been very solid. Ever since we broke above the 50, we have not been back down below it. I don't think right now that's going to necessarily change unless something really surprising happens in inflation, something really surprising happens from an economic standpoint that causes extreme fear in a short amount of time. Sorry for kind of being all ranty about that last one, kind of all over the place. That was the volume profile by Luxago. There we go, back to the 15 for Bitcoin. You're thinking of getting out of the market after the rate cuts? Just depends on what you're buying, and just be careful because it is going to be volatile, very, very volatile. And hey, I'm happy to see you, my man. Hope you're doing well. Why is everyone on Dogecoin? Low market cap, meme. Elon is still doing stuff out there. Has a high chance of just busting out of nowhere during an altcoin season. Like a sheep almost, where it just kind of goes parabolic out of nowhere. I would say, like a lot of tokens right now, it is a high risk type of experiment. But during high risk experimental tokens like that, you don't necessarily have to add a bunch of money in there. You could make $50 turn into $500, right? Now, that's worth the risk if you ask me, but I would say it's probably not worth the risk to drop $5,000 in there and hoping for like $50,000 or something like that. No, but a little bit of money, yeah. People get excited about that type of stuff, especially because they know it can go high in a short amount of time. But like, for example, those on Mars, I don't think you need to really add a bunch in it. It's not even any of the portfolios we made. And that's because if you look at the technicals, it really hasn't been performing all too well or well enough for me to be like, hey, this is something I really need to have in the portfolio. That's something where you just speculate, you buy, you put a few bucks into it, and you just kind of wait and watch. And then whenever it turns profitable, you're good. You can sell it, take that $10 profit, $50 profit, whatever you make, and be like, okay, I made a little bit of money, and I can reinvest it into something else. Simple as that, right? Do I think Dogecoin Mars has a shot of some? Yeah, exactly. I just went, yeah, it can rip. It that's what it does. That's what a lot of these tokens do. They just rip out of nowhere and they go parabolic. I mean, sometimes just news, like you see what happened with Crow, but sometimes like NMR, right? NMR is a token where we've been watching this the last few days. I've been buying this thing for months, but I got lucky because I didn't know this was coming by far. And look at that. Last few days, this thing has just been turning and boom, 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 right? You zoom out to the monthly chart. This thing has been going down for months. My average was right around here, not even close to this. Well, guess what? Now I'm profitable. So now I'm thinking I should probably sell off a good chunk of this and then wait to see what happens because I still think Bitcoin's bearish. I'm like, yeah. So what I'm doing probably today is I'm going to sell off around 75% of what I own, keep it in my little wallet, and then see where this goes later on. Because again, this came up pretty well. This was not performing well for a minute because if my average was like right around here, I was down at one point like 65%. Right. But now I'm up 25%. Now, if I were to dollar cost average and had my average way down here, then I'd be up a whopping like 143%. But it's not always like that, right? You don't always get that obvious thing. You guys have heard me over the past few months saying, I'm going to stop dollar cost averaging a little bit. This market's kind of too frothy for me. I already have money in these things, which again, and I'm just going to wait to see what happens because I had the money right there. It ran up. Made my money. I can sell some of it off. I'm happy, right? Not everybody is happy with 25% profit. A lot of people are happy with like 80%, 100%, whatever. I'm happy with 25% profit. But again, you look at this, all this move has happened over the last few days, right? So last few days at the peak, this is 1 day, 5 hours, it ran up 200%. Lower market cap. I've been talking about it because of coins, sectors, AI. I was looking for low market cap AI tokens that I could buy into and just have a little bit of exposure in there, right? So if you go down and look for the more volatile stuff, right? This is 700 million, 600 million, whatever. You go down even lower. I got some turbo, you guys know that. I have some grass, you guys know that. I have some NMR, right? 119 million, but this thing has popped up like over 100%, right? Or that 200%, whatever I showed you. Well, if it's already up that much over the last few days, imagine how low the market cap was a while ago, right? It's a low market cap token. AI 16, I have some of this. I have some Arkham. I have some Freya now. No, I haven't been able to find Freya yet. I gotta find it. I have Fala Network here, which had a big boom back in the day. Fala, PHA. So I still have some of this, but my average is a little bit high right now, right? So it spiked. I sold a bunch of stuff, but I started buying it back down over here when I should have just waited for it to come back down all the way. So my average is kind of like right there. I could average down with an extra 500 bucks and bring it down here, or bring it like probably closer to here, I guess. Um, don't think it's worth it. I'll just wait and see. But again, low market cap token. This thing is an AI. It's known for having massive spikes, and they all relatively have decent resistance levels. You can see kind of like a level. So if you had to buy right here, and let's say it just goes like right here, you buy it today, and let's say you don't even go for the highest one, you just go for like an average like this. That's still 167% return on the investment. But how long do you have to wait? It probably would take some time here because we're not expecting this to happen until now, October or something like that, which kind of sucks. But, there are different ways to do it. But, I go through all the sectors. I look for stuff that I like. Now you're looking at the really small ones, like 50 million market caps, where maybe you want to put 10 bucks into it. Maybe you don't even want to put 50 bucks into it. You know what I mean? You can go over here to sectors, and you can go through anyone you want to. Like, I'm a big AI guy, obviously, but maybe I want to go over to some like cybersecurity or debit cards, right? Or maybe I want to go to exchange tokens, right? You guys know I love WTX, but WTX is a very small market cap. I don't even know if WTX is on here. Yeah, it's not even registered on this one, so it's a smaller market cap for sure, though. It's like $200 million market cap. Crow, BNB, Leo, Uniswap, right? The ones I own right now are not really even on here anymore. But where's this? There's a lot of tokens not here because like BitGet token's not even on this thing, so it's missing quite a few for some reason. But again, if you think an exchange may take off, buy $100 worth of the token. I'm usually a little bit more hawkish or bullish on exchange tokens, so I feel more comfortable putting money behind them because it's like an actual company that's earning money, and then more people that get into the exchange as they grow, more people buy the tokens for the discounts and the VIP stuff, which helps them out a lot, right? And then you get special discounts, you get special airdrops for free, you get all this cool stuff for just owning their token, so people feel entitled to do so, right? Like where Crow maybe just gives you free Netflix and stuff for owning so much. Some tokens, of course, give you really good trading fees. Some give you free airdrops of like $50 worth of a token, which if it like goes up 100%, that's a lot. That's worth a lot, right? So a lot of different things you can do there. Now, as far as everything else is concerned here, I mean, there's so many different types of tokens you can do. Marketplace, made in the USA, play to earn. It's fine. You just have to go through each one and see because there's gems in all of them. Like cat themed ones. I have Toshi. I have Mog. There's a few things in there, right? I don't have anything else besides those. But what was that token? Tron meme coins. What's that website? Oh. I think it's something fun, right? Sun Pump. There you go. Jesus. All right. You go over here to their ranking. Their top token has $91 million market cap. It's not great. Tron Bull fell to the floor at 2.5, right? So Sundog is at 38 million. These things used to be a lot better than what they are. Like you can just pull up Sundog because that's one of the older ones. I want to have like a chart to talk about here. Sundog. The heck? Let's do Kraken. Oh, it's too new for this one. There you go. Right, had its initial pump back a while ago, and it just has not been able to recover. Breakdown momentum is shifting here on the weekly chart. Again, it's new enough where it doesn't have the full momentum yet. But again, if it just decides to get bearish, the thing's going to flush all the way back down. And again, it's going to flush from a market cap of just 38 million. So 15 million, 10 million, where does it end up going? So just depends right now. Do I see the gap from 92,645 down to 91,750? I do see it. I'm just hoping we don't have to get that far. That'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be a big gap right there. But I mean, if we have bad news, I suppose it's possible. I just don't expect us to have bad news. I'm hoping we don't have bad news. Maybe that's a difference right there, right? Alpine seems like it's trying to break out. Oh, there you go. Let me know how that one does, because it could be interesting. And hey, Liminal, hopefully I said that name right? DCA, that's the way to do it right now for me, at least. Crow can flip BNB. I think that's definitely possible. It really just depends on the adoption of Crow. The issue with Crow right now is when I think of Crow, I think of a place where I want to buy spot tokens, and I don't necessarily want to go crazy with leverage like I would on a Binance exchange, right? And because of that, I'm not getting the same type of fee benefits. So Crow has to really expand, but they should have the authorization of the crypto elites in Washington, D.C. So I don't really see that being a massive problem. Is Toshi a car? I didn't know that. Yeah, Toshi's a type of car, yeah. Here, hold on. If you're looking at Toshi token, right, you're not going to necessarily see that. You're going to see this little guy. But yeah. There we go. Oh, let's go to maybe the 5-minute chart. Bitcoin's very slow right now, so we might have to pile it on to RLC is another token that we own, or I own. I've been talking about this for a while. Again, well, let me show you. Same type of story with the other one, right? My average is like over here, right? Not all the way down here, and now I'm profitable, but not by much, but enough for me to be like, I should probably take some profit right there. I should probably take some profit. We haven't really talked about this thing since November 2024, because I was like, oh, we have an opportunity for a breakout, which we did, I guess. It happened faster than I expected, but sold some off there, bought some back down here, dropped, again, let's say my average is right here, dropped like 40% before it started to bounce back up. But RLC here is... let's see. Speed this up a little bit. Sectors, AI. You also get AI agents, which could be another thing as well, which I guess is separate. RLC's in here somewhere. There it is, way down here. Again, it's up a lot. It's like 50% is what it is, like 60%. But after being up 60%, it's still only $77 million market cap. Now, it's probably higher because I think this thing is lagging. Like, so 77 million right here. RLC. 109 million right now. All right. So again, like sometimes you just get lucky and like, oh, I better take this money out now. I better just like, who knows what's going to happen, right? I take it because we haven't had these long rallies yet. We haven't had rallies that have lasted for months and months and months outside of Bitcoin for the most part. So I'm just like, let's take the profit as it comes. And right now the profit is coming for a few specific tokens, and I feel like I should do something about that. All right. I need to get the word right out of my vocabulary. I need to figure out another term. Thought that was a dog or a fox. Yeah, it's a funky little thing. I don't know what it is, but apparently it's under the cat tag. Probably, yeah, tag is probably the way I would say it. But yeah. Little different there, just a little different. All right, let me push this over. Oops. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, but if any of you guys have any questions, if you guys want me to check out a token or a stock, just say the ticker, whether it's a token or a stock, and that say it like that, and then just ask if you want technical analysis or some fundamental analysis, like checking out the website versus, hey, what do you think it could go from a price action perspective and things like that. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting here today, guys. Bitcoin's been fairly choppy, but we've had a few golden nuggets really just poof out of nowhere. Not many, all right. What I should probably do is go here, open link, get rid of all the other stuff we've been looking at for now. To 3. So last 7 days, what's up on 100, then the top 200, then the top 300, right? That list. All right. So as far as the big ones, larger market caps, Crow is up. It's almost like might even hit $9 billion here, up 80% over the last week. Nothing else has even come close to it. Look at that. Nothing else has even come close to this. The top 200, the top one is Quantum, which is only at 40%. So Crow is really outpacing that. And then you see over here on the top 300, you have Numair, which is the other one we just talked about, which is up 149% on the week here, which is also doing very well. Better than Crow, but also having a much smaller market cap than Crow at the same time. However, you will see VVS Finance at 72%, Ultima 43%, Loaded Lines at 34%. You're going to see a lot more booming here, which is kind of interesting because I think people are positioning themselves for the long shots right now, specifically because they have kind of had a little bit of a pullback, and how we talked about the rate cuts, how it kind of affects the altcoin market, like kind of similar to West 2000. People are kind of finding all these opportunities out there that the chart doesn't look like a complete disaster, and they're just buying some up to see what would have happened down the road. Because if you were to buy right now and the chart is like decently been going up and not like crashing and burning, right, you should have an opportunity to see that coin, at least during some point during the altcoin season, rip and make you some money, right? But it's just kind of a time thing. Remember, like, again, I've been waiting months. Some of my tokens are bags still. Some of my tokens, like today, are just getting lucky and ripping. But when they rip, I got to take that profit. I gotta. Not all of it, but like 75%. I think that's something reasonable right there. It's right here. Let's see. Crow can flip BNB. I need to know everything. It's a token. Oh yeah, we just talked about Crow. Yeah. Virtuals 4-hour and daily charts, please, sir. Let me see. Do I have the ticker for virtuals? I don't think so. Give me the ticker for virtuals and I can help you. I don't think I have the ticker for virtuals on here. Let me see. No, I have theta instead. Yeah, give me the ticker for it and I can do that. Cospa top 70 cents this cycle. I'll show you. Oh, there we go. Market cap 2.3 billion. You know that I underestimate tokens all the time. I'm thinking close to like maybe 30 to 40 cents. Probably 40 to 45 if I'm really going to hone in on it. Here, let me see. Doesn't even listen to Fibonacci levels, so that's fun. Maybe on the monthly chart it listens to Fibonacci's. There we go. Now it does. Way up here, 20, 23, 40. That's 90 up there. It's not the largest market cap. It's not a small market cap anymore. If you were to see it go up here towards this level around 48 cents, 50 cents, you'd still get around 500% return for it. I'd probably say that's probably the best bank. I'd probably be selling the majority of my token over here. It's possible to hit 70 up here. I think for that to happen, though, it's going to need some type of major news catalyst to separate it from the rest of the meme coins. Because this has such a large market cap right now, I don't really see it just like going much higher without something to really juice it, because again, the higher it goes, the more money needs to flow to get it going and going and going and going. So I'd probably close to 45 to 50 cents range, maybe up a little bit more. Now that kind of matches what the Fibonacci's are, but you get the point. On top of that, though, They do have some partnerships that could work out with them. I think they should be fine. I don't know if I'd say 70 cents, but again, you know that I usually underestimate tokens and things like that. Cosmo's on a letdown? Yeah, definitely not a meme coin there. It could be extended still. It could definitely be extended right now. Open door stock. Let me see. Thanks for giving me the ticker. Open door technologies. So it's a penny stock here. This is very, very high risk. You're hitting resistance and getting knocked back from it. So I'd probably say you're probably going to see many more people doing puts and things like that. I don't know what the catalyst for this was, though. So this isn't really a technical thing because it's a meme stock. But let me go over here to FinViz. I've heard of Open Door, right? Oh, yeah, okay. A short float of 24%. They're losing $300 million every year. That's not good. Have they been selling off? Selling off since July, so they've been selling off a little bit here. Better than expected July home sales data. Okay, so this is actually kind of interesting because if rates go down as far as interest rates, that should juice up more home buying, which should give them more revenue, which could probably make them profitable. And if they start to turn a profit, you could see those short squeeze and possibly get up here back towards like 25 bucks or so for a really juicy short squeeze. It's higher risk for sure. And you would have probably already wanted to have been inside of it instead of like trying to buy now at this big level of resistance. As we already talked about, moving averages can give you some nice little juicy moves here. But on the other term, like later on this week, we could easily just plummet all the way back down to earth because we could break down below the 200. I think it's an opportunity, but something that you would understand is a very high risk. Obviously, it was a penny stock until a few days ago. What was that? 52 cents, right? So definitely very, very, very high risk. Could be fun though. Hey, Hiram. Right now, I'm still a little bit more bearish on Bitcoin. I'm hoping that I'm wrong about it, but the technicals, I'm just kind of following those right now, and they just don't look that great. I think the one thing that could possibly save us is the PCE inflation data coming out Friday. But if that's not good, I would still expect us to probably fall down probably another $5,000 or something like that for Bitcoin's price. Virtual. Not great liquidity on them. There you go. Oh, that's breaking down below support here. This doesn't actually look that great. Momentum is bad on the weekly chart. This has been bearish for a minute. It had a good rally here a while ago, you know. Again, I own virtuals, so. But I'm looking at it right now. It's already broken down below that support level here. I think it already should have broken down below maybe 1 or 2 of the fib levels. 1, 2, yeah, there we go. The next support level is probably around $1.01, $1.02, $1.02.5 basically. So I might try to buy right there. But if Bitcoin does really fall down 5,000 bucks or a few percent, you'd probably see it rush all the way back down here between 83 cents and $1. So I probably would just aim to buy over here if you're looking for a position. This still has a while before we have that breakout there, before we can ultimately have that juice. But again, if September is really as bad as like we know it can be for cryptocurrency, same with October, you can see a flush and then a rebound here coming up in October that could really push us higher. Then we kind of start that big boom type of moment. But virtuals right now, that kind of actually worries me just because we have been breaking down below that support level here. If I go over to the daily chart, you might see a little bit easier. You can see that support that we had, right? Broke down. Last time we had a breakdown from it, it did take a little bit of time for us to readjust and find our footing. I think PCE is probably still the best thing for us right now, but again, that looks a little bit rough as far as the technicals are concerned. Let me see something though. Back up to the weekly one. I know we have the fib retracement type of thing here, but why isn't it defaulting towards that? Okay. If it is going to be anywhere between 102 to 82, I wonder if we can do the reverse fib and see if that'll work out. No, it'd probably still be, yeah. That doesn't really help me out too much, does it? How has this been reacting with everything? Not bad. It's been decent as far as acting. So, yeah, probably as low as like 93s and stuff. I wouldn't expect us to get over here to the pink. I think that you call that pink, right? I don't think you get over there. But I'd probably say, yeah, probably to the 90s. At worst, the 80s. But I think when we've had these dips in the past, they've been sure violent, but we've been able to rebound pretty well, pretty fast, because everybody has been kind of excited to buy the dip of late, right? We've been very excited to buy the dip. It's been kind of extraordinary. And I think that's just because we've been kind of trained off of Donald Trump and him doing something grandiose. The market panics. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm not really doing that. And then I was like, oh, then why did I sell? Let me buy back in, rah, 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 you know. Sorry to go rah, rah, but you get what I'm saying right there, right? 85, 90 cent range would be a nice little buy, but I do expect to pull back from that. It's already breaking down below support. Still a solid play, though. I think that's, again, why I have some money in there. Mo, what about PZG? What about that token? I've heard open call the next Carvana type play. It could work out. I don't even know if they're in bankruptcy, but it could be worth it. If you want to play that, I mean, the premiums are going to be very expensive, so you're going to need a high, the implied volatility is going to be freaking insane on that sucker. I would probably, you might have to splurge some more money in there and do an in the money type of call for that. I would say for most of you, because it's only $5, why not just buy the spot and just let it ride, right? Buy the share itself, unless you have some money for options, in which case you can probably do that. But again, it's already a big level of resistance. It would have been nicer on the way up to do some day trading with it. I think if 107K don't hold, we're definitely going to 101. I don't expect 107 to hold if we have bad PCE data, excuse me. And hey, Mo, what about PCG? Do you want to talk about like the technicals, the stock itself? What about it do you want to talk about? What do you think about the ticker UUU, a rare earth mining company in the United States? I should probably do that as a comment thing. Do you guys want technical analysis, fundamental analysis, or just like a general overview of what the stock is? 0.9.78 retracement for a buy on virtuals was my thought. Oh, that's even lower. Yeah, that's even lower. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. So that's virtual. Yeah, that's even lower. Yeah. So sorry, mixing up my my help here for a second. Yeah, I mean, just scale in dollar cost average, you'll be fine, right? You see me right now, you know, I stopped dollar cost averaging for some of my plays, and you know, it took a little bit of time, but some are winning, some are not. And of course, I still have plenty that I'm not doing well. Like we just talked about Doge on Mars. Let me show you this. Let's go to the weekly chart. My average for this is over here. It's been up a few times and I just haven't sold. Now, granted, this day over here, like January, I was like at a barbecue. I did not look at the charts the entire day. I had no idea it ran. Not a barbecue. No, it was barbecue, a little outdoor thing. Maybe not a barbecue, but an outdoor event. Because I remember I was really pissed off when I saw it. And I was like, maybe it'll keep on going up tomorrow. And I just never did. So I was like, I'll just hold it. Excuse me. But you can see it's breaking down to new lows right now. It's not performing very well. Since I put like maybe $100 into it or so, it's down around 69%. So it's only really worth like $30 right now after all that. At one point, it was worth, like a few $100, but I missed the opportunity to sell it. But again, all it takes is a few good weeks, of some nice moves, and all of a sudden we're back in business. It really just depends. It really just depends. Because this move right here from low to high was what, 700%. If we get 700%, I'll be fine. All I really need is 200%, which this thing can do 200% in a few months, right? So just kind of a waiting game. But there are tons of tokens I'm like this right now where I'm holding them, and they're not bullish. I haven't dollar cost average to bring them down to here or here or here or here on this. It's like I put a lot of money in there, make it go there. I'm fine with the money I have in here. I know it'll take some time. I'm just gonna relax and let it do its thing. Right? I don't need to keep on buying into them, but sometimes I do. Right? Just depends on how much, like the token, or sometimes like that WXT token from Weeks. I started buying it back down here, but I also bought some over here. I bought some over here, bought some over here, bought some over here at the very highs, right? So it really just depends on how much you believe about the token. Let's pull this back over here very fast. And hey, Hot Shop, you see my man shorted Easy from 1-2. Hey, dude, that's a nice play right there. Yeah, man, that Easy token was absolutely insane. I don't know what the heck is going on with it. I don't even know if Kanye actually tweeted about it or what. I have no idea how this thing came to be. But celebrity tokens are usually not very good things, and I just never really go heavy into them. Or anything. The only one I bought was the Trump token because that was such an extraordinary type of thing, and I didn't even buy early. I bought late. I bought Trump token at $28, not at $1, not at 15 cents, nothing like that. I bought at $28, right? Very, very late. But I sold it for $64, so I still made my money because I traded with leverage, right? I think it was like 50x leverage on that trade. But it's very rare that I go down that thing, because again, I remember the Hawk Tua debacle. And I remember it because I remember seeing Hawk Tua Girl at the Karate Combat event in Nashville, not this past Bitcoin conference in May, last year's Bitcoin conference, because I tried to talk with her and she was just an asshole, and then her agent was also an asshole. So I was like, damn, these people are fucking assholes, at least in my opinion, right? So because I was like that, I was like, damn. And then I hear she's been talking to some people, and I was like asking my friends about it. They're like, they're on the blockchain side of things, where they kind of analyze the data that I just can't do properly because I haven't taken the time to learn that skill set. They were like, oh, this thing's gonna be a fucking disaster, because they look at it and they see they see the holders, they see who's putting money into it. They can track and see, hey, have these people been in trouble before with any other tokens? And they had a bunch of failed tokens. They had known to rug pull and things like that. And it just, you could easily, anybody with a blockchain could easily see it. And those people just shorted the crap out of it, right? So it just depends. It really just depends there. I don't like them, but I remember meeting Hawk Tua Girl. I remember her because I think a company, I forget who the company was, one of the companies paid Hawk Tua to put on their shirt. And so she was walking with the company's, like a crypto company's shirt all day. But yeah, it was just, oh God. Her agent screwed her over because I don't think she knew anything about crypto. I don't think her agent knew anything about crypto. But the agent's supposed to protect you, do the due diligence and stuff like that. But that's what happens when you hire a cheap agent, right? Maybe he was expensive, but he acted like a cheap agent. Now I have 4650. There you go. Bull alts are coming. Long wait. Oh, but alts are coming. Long wait. Oh, yeah. Give it some time. I guess it's probably going to happen in October at this point, but it just sucks that it's not happening as fast as we would all like it to be, right? Nice little double top that form right there, but that volatility was all over the freaking place. Look at that big old dip we had a little bit ago, a few hours ago. Oof. Almost done with the cigar here. Ugh. Let's see. Crow is up. Kai is up a little bit. Jito's up a little bit. Not really anything else is really like, oh, look at this thing right now. Radium's up 7. That's not terrible. Year to date. I mean, year to date, there are a lot of tokens that are profitable right now, right? Now, there's also a lot of losing money, but they still have high enough market caps where they're still in the hunt, right? Imagine being Virtuals, which is down 70% for the year. Again, I still own it. Theta down 64, Celestia down 63, Optimism down 60. Didn't Optimism have a complete disaster? I think Optimism had a complete disaster type of effect on their stock though. Stacks is down 58, Immutable is down 60, World Token's down 55. And I like World Token, right? But damn, they're in a rough spot right now. Near Protocol, this thing has been hyped up by a lot of people online. A lot of influencers have been hyping up Near. Just hasn't really done much to help them out here. But again, some of the things that I like Fetch or F Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, that one's still down 50%, right? So give it some time. It'll be interesting to see during this next altcoin season that comes around if we will move in sectors like we did back in 2021, where it was the metaverse running this week, and then next week it was the dog meme coins. Then then in the next one it was the cat meme coins. And you kind of see the sympathies playing out for all the tokens, and everybody kind of buying in and waiting to see if it's going to pump out of nowhere. Which, in fact, it did really end up being a lot easier last cycle, but we had a prolonged rise where everything was going up, and then when the dog meme coins took off, the cat meme coins plummeted back down to earth because everybody had freaking moved on. But to make the most money, you had to put money in all of these different tokens at once and then wait to see it pops. It's like whack-a-mole. When it pops, you gotta whack it, take your profit, 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 over and over and over again. We need to have a prolonged bull market for that, and not just a bull market for Bitcoin, as you guys would understand. Like, we have a bull market in the NASDAQ, SPY, Dow Jones, Bitcoin. Yeah. Ethereum isn't really in a crazy bull market. The Russell 2000 isn't really in a crazy bull market. So it's kind of like, let's hold off a little bit and see where it goes, right? But that's why I say, like, right now, I just have all those positions. Some are profitable, some are not. But when it goes up, no matter what, I'll be in profit because it's just, I'm not so far up. I didn't buy all-time highs or something for these tokens. You saying fart coins out of gas again? Trust me, dude, I know. I have a few $100 worth of it, and it's just not performing well. But like I was talked about during the beginning of the stream, all it takes is a little pump for that sucker and it can go right back up. And plus, it's a popular meme coin. It gets talked about enough. People have it in the back of their memory. Fart coins is probably as derogatory as I'll go. If you guys recall back last year, we actually had over the last few years, excuse me, we did have a lot of really inappropriately named meme coins. And they were just blowing up like crazy. Blowing up like crazy. I didn't really trade them too much because I wasn't going to be talking about them with you because I figured YouTube would, change some stuff. But for those of you guys that have been like really following cryptocurrency on my channel for the past few years or past few days, past few months, and not really necessarily like since the last cycle, there was so much spam and craziness and bots back in the 2021 market that YouTube actually took away the search term Bitcoin. So if you searched Bitcoin, like Bitcoin technical analysis, Bitcoin whatever, it would say there are no search results for this topic. So people couldn't even find my stream. They had to go to my channel, see that I was streaming, and then boom, they could watch. It was absolutely crazy times. Thank God for me, I was in Dogecoin, so you could search Dogecoin, you could find me. But Bitcoin, bro, there was a crackdown like I've never seen before. What do I think about Toshi? It seems to be community is pretty strong. I mean, I own some. I think it's fine. I think the real good thing about it is it does have a lower market cap. I wouldn't say the lowest market cap. Like, here, let me go over here to Toshi. Right? $271. That's kind of in the sweet spot where I like it. Some of the tokens I have, they're like at 50 million, 100 million. But, I kind of bought them around 150 to 200 million. They kind of fell that way. I think this is probably fine. I actually thought this was a little bit higher market cap, so I think this is fine. What was the market cap last time I really checked? What? 300 million? Yeah, I thought it was, yeah, okay, that's not bad, actually. Got as high as, 500 million up here? 600 million, oh. Yeah, it's a pure meme play. I think it still has a lot of traction. It has a pretty good following, like you were just talking about right there, and the X community is pretty solid as well. And I do like how, at least last time I looked, they were posting pretty regularly. 112,000 followers, right? Posted 9 hours ago, 14 hours ago, right? That's not hard for them to post this type of stuff, so I'm happy they do, right? Do base, yeah, I don't really care about all that type of crap, but what do you call? There's enough people watching this daily where they have money invested, they're really happy with it. So I think it's more of a waiting game right now. Then you play that waiting game, you're gonna be fine. And hey, 3 piece meal. I talk about Sheba every now and again, but to be frank, Sheba is one of those things where it's very boring until it explodes. And I'm just doing the same thing. Actually, I have a lot more money in Sheba than a lot of other tokens. I think I have like 2,000 bucks in Sheba right now. Probably worth around 1,500 at this point. But I'm hoping it'll just explode like last time and I'll make some money off of it. I'll let you guys, I'll keep you guys updated, but that's pretty much the most extent that I've talked about Shiba Inu. It's like in a bearish mode right now. It just sits. Doesn't crash and burn. It just sits. It does not. It goes choppiness. It goes in channels, right? Then it breaks out on the upside. Then you're like, whoa, let's go to the moon. And then it like falls right back down to that channel, and it goes over and over and over again. And hey, Josh, I'm not hyping at all, but Michael, I searched SPK and bought a good amount, mentioned before, but I do think it may be a good buy. Liquidity across stable coins, not a bot. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Hey man, we all have our tokens that we like. Hopefully make some money off of it, right? And that's all we really wanted this opportunity here, especially when we have these 2 months of buying. I think we're still set to go here. It's just that, as you guys might imagine, things get very boring during this and people get very upset, like, oh my god, I'm down $5,000, you know, and then if they hold, they can probably make $10,000 to $15,000. But like, being down is never fun because the timing is sometimes off, right? And the timing can be off because you bought, the technicals were great, but then the Fed started to talk, and then Trump started to do something. Then we had bad economic data. Then all of a sudden, you're like, whoa, there's all these spinning parts. Then you add on like the bond market, which is causing some chaos right now, underlying all this type of stuff. So very interesting. But you know, it'll take some time for now. But okay, buddy, I'm going to end the stream right now. I'll smoke this other cigar with you guys tomorrow. My grandma's texting me, and I guess something happened with the AT&T account, so she needs me to help her out with it. So she's tried to call me twice during this stream, so I got to figure that out. Let me let you guys say goodbye to Loki. I'll finish my cigar outside with my dog while I'm talking with my grandma. A little bit of a stress reliever, if you will, right? Where's Loki at? He has to always go get his toy. Where's Loki at? Loki. What? Loki, come here. Oh, come here, baby. Come here. Up. Why do you want to go that way to get the... See? Good boy. Okay. See, he doesn't even want me. He doesn't even want pets. He wants the toy. Yeah. Okay, good boy, yeah. Alright. I will see you guys a little bit later. TV, right? I will have that TV being a little bit better here. I got my light, but I lost the remote for my little light. It's somewhere on my desk, I think. So I got like a big light I got to put over here, but I may just use my... I have like so many lights in my house for studio, but I only use one right now. But I'm hoping to bring back all the blue background and stuff like that. Have a little bit